Gaano katagal na kayo naglo-low carb at nagfa-fasting? Marami na ba kayong nasubukang iba't ibang klase ng low carb? If it's liberal low carb, dirty low carb, safe low carb, strict low carb, safe list low carb, with caution list low carb, with occasional danger list low carb. Ano-ano yung ibang klaseng experimentation na ginawa ninyo? And so far, ano naman yung resulta? Today, we will talk about the outcome and result ng isa sa ating mga beloved admins in our Facebook groups, Life Without Rice and Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community. He is a good friend from last year or early last year. Now, we've practically become family kahit hindi pa kami nag-meet in person. It's because we are speaking the same language and we have the same heart when it comes to improving nutrition the most natural way and comes with natural, walang bayad, walang kailangang bibilhin at sa lahat sa inyo na nagpapascam at bumibili ng kung ano-anong cereals at produkto na hindi ko binibenta at hindi ko pinopromote, you have to learn it today na actually the best kind of nutrition, of lifestyle, doesn't need to be expensive, doesn't need to be unsustainable. It should be on your own mindset lamang. So we will hear the story of our beloved admin, Olledan and his outcome sa kanyang pagsa-self-experiment, and maybe 1 or 2 points we can learn something about it at malay nyo matututunan nyo kung ano yung something that is lacking or something that you might need to totally proceed with that healing, proceed with that self-discovery, and achieve yung pinaka-goal ninyo when it comes to health. So let's all welcome Kuya Oli or Coach Olledan Balieras of Sonofa Farmer. Hello, Kuya Oli.
Hello. Hi, Doc. Thank you for inviting me again
Yes,
in your
no?
live stream.
Nag 1 year na ba? It
Oo.
2021 na?
I
All
think more
no?
than a year. It was July.
Yan.
July nung nag-low carb con tayo last year. Then
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
a
Right.
we had a live stream before that.
Yes. So, first, no, para sa, although I know na, especially sa mga members natin in Life Without Rice and LCFF, they know you. And kung hindi ka man nila nakita kung gaano ka kapogi, kitang-kita nila yung kapugian mo sa pagre-reply sa kanilang mga concerns sa ating mga groups and helping them in their questions when it comes to low carb and when it comes to fasting. Give us a short preview. Sino ba si Kuya Oli before low carb and fasting? Ano ang health status and concerns mo noon?
Hello everyone. Magandang tanghali. Tanghali na sa Pilipinas ngayon,
Yeah.
no? Magandang gabi dito sa sa US. I'm based in California. So yung question ni Doc, no, yung who was I health-wise before low carb and fasting? Gaya ng karamihan, actually, I thought I was healthy. Yun yung perception ko sa sarili ko. Kasi I was 21 years in the military as a linguist, di ba? So in order to strive in the military, you have to be physically fit. So yun yung tingin ko sa sarili ko, that I was physically fit because I'm able to survive in the military. And only after a while that the markers of health started to decline. So doon ko nalaman na nagiging pre-diabetic na pala ako. And then yearly meron kaming mga physical health exam or medical exam sa military. Doon ko rin nalalaman na, every year parang pumapangit yung markers of health. Like nagiging hypertensive ako. Hanggang sa every year na lang, lagi akong hypertensive yung pag kinukuha yung blood pressure ko. And then in 2009, I was diagnosed with hyperactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease kung yung ibang tawag doon, where I lost a lot of weight. I was all the way down to 130 pounds. Napakapayat ko noon. Then I have really bad reactions to it. Nagsishake yung kamay ko. Yung mood ko laging nagfa-fluctuate, lagi akong galit. And parang I have dual personality. Minsan laging galit, minsan okay naman. pag umaatake yung yung hyperthyroidism. And yun nga, pre-diabetic. And I think yung pinaka malaking naitulong sa akin ng ng low carb at fasting, I was able to build a better relationship to alcohol consumption. Marami kasi sa atin, 'di ba? I wasn't diagnosed as an alcoholic, but I knew I was an alcoholic. Marami sa atin, we're not diagnosed because it doesn't take much to be an alcoholic. If you drink every day, you are an alcoholic. Kahit isa lang, kahit one drink every day, you are an alcoholic. Kahit once a week ka lang uminom, kung uminom ka naman 12 pack ng beer, o kaya nakakalahati mo yung bote ng whiskey, you are an alcoholic. It doesn't take much. And I know I was an alcoholic because I was finishing a bottle of wine or a bottle of whiskey every night. So I think para sa akin, aside from the pre-diabetes, aside from the hyperthyroidism, hypertension, at kung iba-iba pang mga sakit na reverse dahil sa lifestyle na to, I think for me, alcoholism is the number one that actually turned my life around. I was able to reverse alcohol. I mean, actually, you don't reverse it. I look at it more like building a better relationship to alcohol, because alcohol will always be around. Same as sugar and other food that gives us lifestyle diseases, right? But if we can build a better relationship to those variants, those factors in life, then the better we can deal with it. And I think yun ang nangyari sa akin.
Yeah. So, with your words, no, hindi lang basta yung health issues, because for many, eto talaga yung pinaka-motivation nila. It's the reversal of medical conditions. And it's not a small thing, ha? Pre-diabetes, hypertension, hyperthyroidism specifically. Hindi ito basta mga maliliit na concerns lang. People are going to extents na talaga just to reverse this one, spending a lot of money, and their quality of life are actually deteriorating because of these illness. But above all, I can understand why you consider na yung best benefit of low carb, kung meron man, was the management of alcohol intake on your side. And it's because lahat ng problems natin sa ating health, sa ating pangangatawan, it will all boil down with our mindset. Yung control natin sa ating isipan, how our mind works, and alcohol intake together with sugar intake and carbohydrate intake and the many other bad habits, or what we call our tendencies, our addictions. If we can't manage that, then we cannot really expect na we can manage everything else. So that is why kahit pa alcoholism lang yung isipin mong parang hindi siya ganun ka-tangible as compared to the one that you can see sa laboratory mo naging okay na yung blood pressure mo, naging okay na yung thyroid mo. Hindi siya ganun ka-tangible na merong proof, but it is you yung nakakaramdam talaga that there's a lot of improvement. That's the same way for me when it comes to my relationship with food. That's why I also never really opened myself to alcohol or to smoking or other substances, because I know I have the tendency to be parang addictive into something na alam kong very stimulating. So all my life I've been well stimulated with food, and my relationship with food, especially sweets, yun talaga yung pinaka-struggle. So the moment I myself incorporated fasting, the moment I was able to say no sa pinaka-urge mo, then that mindset, then that self-discipline, that's empowerment na mabibigay mo sa inyong sarili. If you can say no to that, then you know you can say no in anything else, and you can control. And once you have that sense of control, it's very easy. It will just flow in other aspects of your life. So thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's not easy for others kasi nga you'll never really gonna overcome something unless the first step is acceptance and recognition.
Yep. Yep.
And
You need
it
to
is
be able to
really
you need to be able to recognize that
Mhm.
you are an alcoholic. because a lot
Yeah.
of us deny that we are. Like years ago, my wife used to tell me, "Don't you think?" She actually don't tell me. She actually
Direct.
more of a asked me a question. Say, Don't you think you're drinking a little too much?" I was like, then I would suddenly get mad and say, "I'm not
Yeah.
drinking too much." But that
Mm.
was the alcohol talking. You're denying that you're failing to recognize your problem,
Yeah.
and you're denying it. But
Mm.
once you are able to accept it, then there's healing that comes after.
Yeah. And you know what? Segue lang, no? I realized over the course of these months, every time na something like annoys me or something like triggers me, I realize now with further self-reflection, those are the things talaga na you really have to deal with. The things that you are trying to be defensive about, yun talaga yung mga issues na kailangan mo talagang i-deal that you are denying yourself.
Yeah.
So, every time. So, just ano lang.
Sometimes we try to run away from it,
Yeah. And
and the best way to deal with it is to react to it, right?
yeah. Mm.
Without really finding the right solution,
Mm.
we'll just continue to react to things that triggers
Mm.
us.
And yung nakakalungkot, we are reacting to our loved ones that are concerned to us pa. And we are trying to shut them down by
Yeah.
being defensive and no and raising our voice or making face or whatnot. But the good thing is, this is I think the best time for us, each of us, to reflect talaga na if something triggers us, you might want to take a step back and think dahil baka meron talagang point yung mga sinasabi na gano'n. And that can be a very, very important na period of your life for self-improvement, for you to really grow. And yun yung, for me, I'm so happy na when it comes to low carb and fasting, I think it cleansed my brain to allow those growth, to allow those improvement, to nag-give way siya for me to be open up to those, no? So it's about healing and it's about improving our health. So moving forward to our self-experimentation outcomes. Ano-anong klaseng low carb yung na-try mo na?
Actually, Doc, I think I've tried everything. I think we've talked before. Na we both started only fasting. We
Yeah.
didn't know low carb, right?
Yes, yes.
We learned from Jean Stephens and her
Mm.
books, and we started fasting. That pareho din ako, fasting lang. Then I was still eating rice. I was fasting on a regular American diet.
Mm.
So then after a while, of course, di ba pag nasa community ka na ito, malalaman mo yung mga iba't ibang pinag-aaralan, malalaman mong low carb. Ano kaya yung low carb? Then you'll try it on yourself. So actually, I've tried, I think, everything. I tried keto. I tried dirty keto. I tried really clean low carb. I even went on a 21 days carnivore diet. And all of that because I was trying to find what really works for me.
Your sweet spot.
Yeah. I think the most important thing in this lifestyle is to find your sweet spot. Um, don't be mimicking what others do
Mm.
because it's not one size fits all.
Mm.
Once you find your sweet spot and once you find the the, the nutrition or the diet that works for you and the fasting protocol that works for you, this becomes, I think that's what makes it a lifestyle. If you
Mm.
fit fasting and low carb nutrition into your existing life and be able to sustain it, I think that's what really works. Instead of trying to force something into your life, halimbawa nga naman, if you're working 5 days a week, like 12 hours every day, magkaiba yung protocol mo, tsaka protocol ko because I'm working from home, I'm retired. So if you're going to try to mimic what I do, it's gonna be hell for you. It's gonna be hard for you because
Mm.
I'm at home. I can control the things in my surroundings, which you can't because you're in a different environment. You're at work.
Mm. Mm.
So yun, pero na-try ko na rin lahat. And right now, actually, I call my practice as general low carb nutrition. I don't It's just low carb. There's no counting of micro or of macronutrients. There's no counting of calories. I try to eat as clean as possible every day.
Mm.
Um, Not always successful. That's just life. That's how life goes. You try, and
Mm.
if you fail, you get back up and you drive on. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't think too much about it. Ang
Mm.
nagiging problema natin, I think, kasi sinasabi natin, oh, it's a fad diet, it's a fad diet. Ang nagiging problema kasi natin yung iba, we fail, yung mga sinasabi nilang nadadapa, di ba? We fail and we try to think too much about it. And along the way, we just quit because we couldn't forgive ourselves. That's
Mm.
not how this lifestyle works. If it just so happened that you ate something that you're not supposed to, then just shrug it off and
Mm.
say, "Well, I'll do better tomorrow." That's all
Yeah.
you have to do.
Just like in surgery, no? 'Di ba? When we, as a surgeon, we have different techniques in operation. Tapos, sinasabi, ano ba daw yung best technique for a certain procedure? Yung sagot talaga dyan, the best technique is the one that you know best and the one that you are used to and the one that you are happy with. So, just like in our lifestyle, that's why we are trying to educate everybody. So we are sharing knowledge, we are sharing different variations. We have this very broad na idea what is low carb and then maraming specifics.
Mhm.
So strict keto, clean keto, dirty keto, and then there's general low carb, liberal low carb, and then there's also carnivore, and then there's also animal based na hindi talaga pure carnivore but largely animal based. So maraming variations. And that's why it's so easy for us to say na this works for me, maybe this will work for you too. That's why I'm very very careful also into sharing what's work for me,
Mhm.
because as much as I am happy with what is working for me, hindi yon ganon kadali, because there will be so many sa ating mga kaibigan sa ating community na ayaw na mag-isip, susundin ko na lang kung ano yung ginagawa mo. When in fact, we don't have the same level of physical activity,
Mhm.
hindi tayo pareho ng metabolism, hindi tayo pareho ng genes, and that's why hindi rin gano'n ka-successful yung iba, because they don't go through the hassle of really learning things. Kaya tayo nag-e-effort, nagla-live tayo araw-araw to try to let you know na merong paraan. You can find your sweet spot, and the most sustainable way for you para malaman nyo kung ano talaga yung best kind of lifestyle ipa-follow ninyo is through education. You educating yourself kung ano yung kailangan nyong i-consider. So, Coach Oli, if we can help them, ano-ano ba yung mga i-consider para masabi na kung ano, gaano ka-strict na low carb o anong klaseng low carb na kailangan nila? So, with you, aside from say for example your age or being male or female, and what other factors that you can consider?
Well, it's maraming ano dapat i-consider, no, Doc, no? Like, one of them is the level of your activity, kagaya nga ng sinabi mo.
Mm.
So for some people, they probably know that I love running. I'm an endurance runner. Um, Not competitive, but just a recreational one. I go and compete on races and everything. But when I go there, I compete against myself. I don't compete against others. So I just trying trying to improve
Beating your
myself
own
every day.
personal record.
Yeah, my own personal record. And that's the reason why my low carb is different to other people's low carb. I can probably eat more carbohydrates than other people because of the level of activity that I do. For
Mm.
example, activity go in 5 days out of a week, I am very active. Either I am hiking trails, I'm slow running on trails, I'm doing sprints, I'm doing strengthening and stability exercises at home, I'm doing, you know, body weight exercises. And those things help in glucose uptake. Exercise help in glucose uptake. If you are a sedentary person, then in your low carb will be the total opposite of my low
Yeah.
carb. I
Mm,
can probably take 200 grams of carbohydrates and it won't affect me as much as it would affect you if you're
mm,
sedentary,
mm.
which is not 200 is not advisable. Actually, that was my practice before I learned about this new practice of endurance, which is primal endurance, which is totally aligned to what we already do in the low carb and fasting community, what we already do in the intermittent fasting community, which is the basic principle is endurance activity while burning fat. So
Mm,
those are the things that I do.
mm,
So basically, if you are an active person, there's more leeway on what you can do when it
mm.
comes to your nutrition.
Yeah.
Um, and also that also affects your fasting.
Mm,
But if you are not as active, then look at other ways to improve your nutrition. You cannot
mm,
just follow us. You cannot look at what I do and say, "Oh, I'm going to mimic what Coach Oli is doing because it
mm.
seems to work for him." It works for me, but it doesn't always work for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if I can recall yung napag-usapan natin last year, no? You cannot, ano ngayon, out-exercise a bad diet. Tama ba yun?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And just to show them, this is you before running
That was
and
a photo out of a marathon in Hawaii in 2016.
2016. So you already look somewhat fit in general, but you are not perfectly fit as compared to, say, for example, this one,
Yeah, this is back in February this year,
just this
one of the
year.
races here in California.
So is it safe to say that somewhat you are consuming somewhat the same amount of calories and then running the same length kung yung physical activity ay pareho, but you improved on the quality kung saan nanggagaling yung calories mo. That is by lowering the amount of carbohydrates and also with fasting. Tama ba yan, Coach Oli?
Actually, I believe I was consuming more calories
Oh,
before
before.
than compared to today. Um,
Okay.
and
Overall,
also,
fasting also, no? Kasi nga
yeah,
kukulangin na yung oras mo sa pagkain eh.
yeah, I was consuming more calories before. Um, and like you said, Doc, the sources of calorie is way different than the sources of calorie of the things that I eat right now.
Mm, mm.
Um, Kasi ang practice ko ngayon, although I totally graduated from using apps to track my fasting, I
Yeah,
still
same.
fast. I think it's about last year when I said, you know what, I'm going to turn off my. This is a lifestyle. You shouldn't
Mm.
be tracking your lifestyle.
Mm.
So I totally divorced my fasting apps. And I think I joked and I said I divorced them, but we stayed friends because just in case I need them for extended fasting one of these days, so
Ah,
I'll use them again. But yeah, I was eating more calories before
mm,
compared to today, and the crazy thing about it is I have more energy today that I can remember than before. So
mm,
I don't. Sometimes that's hard to believe that.
mm,
And the reason for that is when I was running, because I started running in 2015, and until 2000, I started this lifestyle in 2019. So
mm,
from 2015 to 2019, for 4 years as an endurance runner, I was always fueling with high carbohydrates.
mm.
And as we know, if you're fueling with carbohydrates, that doesn't last very long. If you're running 10 miles, you probably spent pretty much all your glycogen stores. I mean your glucose that you the carbohydrates that you took the day before, and you have to refuel. But fat is almost infinite. once your body knows how to burn fat for fuel, then when you are on an endurance training, you're almost you almost have this never ending source of energy. As I tried, I think, 1st of April this year, when I went on a fasted 50K and successfully finished it.
Wow.
But but in order to do that, there are things that you need to learn, because in order for your body to continue burning fat while you are running, you need to stay at a certain heart rate. Because
Mm.
if your heart rate goes too high and you become anaerobic, you start burning sugar. You start
Yeah.
burning glucose for
Mm.
energy. But if you keep it at an aerobic heart rate or below, you'll burn fat the whole, well, not the whole time. Of course, it's a balance of glucose and fat, just more on fat because you have a lower heart rate.
Would you
So
know would you know your level of heart rate na you're
yeah,
going into anaerobic na?
yeah. Because I wear heart rate monitor the whole time.
Yeah. Mm.
So there's this brainchild of Dr. Phil Maffetone, which I've been following since last year.
Mm.
So basically, he came. His Dr. Phil Maffetone is one of the um, such an intelligent man, a renowned exercise physiologist. So
Wow.
he came up with 180 minus age. So I'm 45.
180 minus age. Okay.
So 180 beats per minute, and I'm 45. So my heart rate is supposed to be at 135 and below. So
Okay.
basically, I set my watch, because I wear a heart rate strap that transfer to my watch, and it beeps. So I set it to 120, between 125 and 115.
Okay.
If it goes below 115, then it's too low. Then it start running. If it
Okay.
goes above
Wow,
125,
that's so
then it's too
nice.
high.
So good.
Then I slow down my pace.
Mhm.
So in
Mm.
order for you to last, you have to maintain a certain heart rate. Otherwise, because if you start going glycolytic, you start burning
Yeah.
carbohydrates,
Mm.
glucose, then you're
Mm.
gonna run out of fuel. And
Mm.
once you're out of fuel, you're gonna have to start refueling.
Okay. I would like to emphasize on that because I'm sure, no, because we've been in this way of life for going 4 years now. And yun nga, we've went through the rabbit hole talaga at saka yung mga pag-uusapan natin may not be that easy to follow, especially sa mga newbies. So, eto po yun. When you are still a high carber, just like we were before, is yung parating ginagamit na energy ng katawan nyo is glucose. And then, once you start doing low carb and then fasting, hindi na puro glucose yung gagamitin ninyo. Na-activate na yung fats in the form of ketones. So, there's already ketosis. However, yung katawan natin, hindi pwedeng puro ketones lang yung gagamitin niya 100%. There will always be part of our body na mangangailangan pa rin ng glucose. Say for example, the red blood cell kailangan talaga niya ng glucose. And there is also a different kind na mga parts ng ating organs na flexible. Pwedeng gumamit ng glucose, pwedeng gumamit ng ketones. Now, kapag medyo matagal ka na sa pagiging low carb at pagpa-fasting, and then unti-unti mo nang na-incorporate yung exercise, then majority of your body, 50 to 75% of your body, especially your brain, kayang-kaya na niya mag-function na puro ketones yung ginagamit. And the glucose na kailangan ng mga part ng katawan mo na glucose pa rin yung obligate glucose na user ay masosupplement yan ng proteins o di kaya ng galing sa triglycerides na binibreakdown or some carbohydrates na kinakain nyo. Hopefully galing sa complex carbohydrates. And then, when it comes to our muscles, dito usually nako-confuse, especially yung mga athletes. Bakit daw parang nagki-crave pa rin sila kahit matagal na silang fat adapted? Why is
Mhm.
it na during races or when they bike for 100 kilometers, sobrang naghahanap talaga sila ng sugar, naghahanap talaga sila ng glucose? It is because meron part ng ating muscles and our heart na yun nga, when it is activated, may different muscle kasi tayo. Merong fast twitch and slow twitch. And
Mhm.
those can be needing more glucose than the other depending kung ano yung na-activate. And what Coach Ollie is sharing with us, meron palang parang hack na malalaman mo kung ano yung heart rate na kung saan ma-activate na hindi ka na fat burner lang. If you will go beyond that certain heart rate, which is this formula, most likely you are already activating anaerobic glycolysis or anaerobic metabolism. Ito yung klase ng metabolism na hindi masusupplement ng fats because fat burning somewhat hindi siya ganon ka, parang kung isipin natin kailangan pa siya ng machinery for it to be
Yeah.
burned. Whereas yung glucose, para siyang papel na isang sindi mo lang, pwede siyang instantly, it will light up. So, if you are in a hurry, if you are doing it so fast, so merong part ng katawan mo na maghahanap talaga ng glucose to compensate for that need. So, this is a very beautiful. May pangalan na ba sila sa formula na to or just experiment?
They call it ano daw, maximum aerobic heart rate, and then there's a you supposed to test yourself every so often if you are improving, and the test is called maximum aerobic fitness
Oh,
test. Yeah,
so this is
he
really
came out of it. He
mhm,
came out of this formula years ago. I think it
mm,
started back in the 80s or 90s.
mm, mm.
Because sabi nga 'di ba yun sino yung he's big in doctor from Africa in low
Professor
carb.
Tito?
Yes, sabi nga ni Professor Tim Noakes, sabi niya ano, Dr. Phil Maffeton, sabi niya I am smart, but Dr. Phil Maffeton is like the god of low carb because he thought of this back in the 80s
Wow,
about burning low carb, that about he said
grabe.
something about carbohydrates is not the best fuel for endurance athletes.
Oh my God. I'm having goosebumps. I'm having goosebumps just by listening to this, no? And this only goes to show that it's not new. Yung akala nating fad diet na
Yeah.
ganun lang. No, it's been there for the longest time at marami ng evidence. It's just that there's not much business around it. Walang masyadong ipa-profit because when you learn low carb and fasting the right way, no, hindi mo talaga kailangan bumili ng kahit ano-ano. In fact, when you buy something, it's just parang it's part of ano lang siya, luxury. So, but it's not a necessity. It's not a necessity. And it's giving you a leeway lang parang to celebrate, to rejoice that you can afford this certain monitoring na machine or whatever, and
Yeah.
then to really help you sustain this lifestyle because of happiness and that feeling of satisfaction. But generally, low carb and fasting hindi siya magastos and it's the most natural talaga. It's just that we are so lucky to be living in this timeline na we
Mhm.
can double check it and we can see that wow, it really works. We can really do some
Yeah.
experimentation. So going back to maximum aerobic heart rate, I think this is the best answer, especially for those na mga endurance athletes, triathletes, elite na mga athletes na natatakot mag-low carb kasi nga daw, baka daw mawala yung kanilang muscles or they cannot sustain their activity because they don't know. Kasi kung ganyan kasi pushing to the limits lang all over. But if you know your sweet spot, especially for endurance like marathoners,
Mhm.
there will really be a time kung if you will go to this range like so for example for you are having this window of 10 beats per minute na leeway 115 to 125. So if
Mhm.
you go in there, alam mo, the whole marathon, you are actually really burning fat. So
Yeah.
sobrang
So if you
amazing.
can maintain that, doc, like you can
Mm-mm.
maintain a certain heart rate for that period of
Lot of
26
time.
miles, by the
Hmm.
time you're done, it's like you did nothing. Like when I did the 50K back in
Mm,
April, and
mm,
I maintained my heart rate at 136 and below,
mm.
the next day I was recovered.
Oh,
So
grabe.
that was amazing for me. It's like, well,
Yes.
there's no going back to that old training. There's no going back to the chronic black hole endurance training that I used to do. Because when I started endurance running, my mindset was, if I'm not running out of breath or dying after every training run that I do, then I'm not training enough. So the
Oh.
180 minus age forces you to actually slow down and
Mm,
build your aerobic base. For me, I build them for about 6 to 8 weeks before I start incorporating other things like weightlifting, sprints, hill repeats, and all those things. Actually, it's patience, and it requires a lot of consideration, especially if you're coming from a black hole training. Sabi ko nga, di ba, like, if you're not dying, you're not training. The basic principle of primal endurance is slow down to get fast. So
mm,
the idea is you slow down, maintaining your heart rate. In the long run, you'll be getting faster while you're still at the same heart rate. So if you're at the same heart rate and getting faster at the same time, then there's longevity there. You are not taxing your heart too much. Kasi di ba, Doc, like if you are sprinting all the time, you're scarring your heart tissues. And after a while, just like a motorcycle, if you keep revving that motorcycle, after a while, magkakalamat yan. Then
mm.
it just explodes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Same with
yeah,
the heart.
yeah. That's why meron lang talagang sweet spot. Kasi parang totoo 'yan, when it comes to longevity, hindi puwedeng full throttle ka the whole time. Hindi talaga puwede 'yan. So, these are the other hacks to improve low carb and fasting. First and foremost, as what we've discussed ni Coach Ollie, no, incorporation of physical activity. So we're so happy and proud na naka-low carb ka na at naka-fasting. And once you are already there, you might want to even improve the status that you have now by incorporation of physical activity. So there are many ways and forms to do some physical activity. For those of you na naging part ng February na city walk and talk natin, na whole month natin yon, it was actually Coach Ollie na nag-introduce sa amin ng walking and running, and that is for Tachi 100. 100 miles in 28 days for the month of February every year. I think it's going to be an annual event na talaga, no? So
Yes,
during that time,
next one will be February.
Next February na naman ulit by 2023, sali tayo do'n. So during that time, that's why I I made it into a parang podcast while walking, because I was never really into running or walking kasi para sa akin para siyang sayang yung time that I was just doing that. But with your stories now, it actually ignited me to start running again. But this time with knowing the maximum aerobic heart rate. So I think my brothers would also be interested kasi pareho we have the same mindset and what triggers us to do things. And this one is just too good not to try. I think I'll be running in no time talaga by following this formula.
Actually, Doc, yung sa Tayo 100, no? Siguro pag titingnan ng iba, because I ran 300 miles
Hmm.
in February. Di ba yung ano natin, yung goal natin, 100 each.
100 lang.
So in 28 days, I ran 300. Siguro sasabihin ng tao, oh, coach, nagli-lecture ka ng, you have to take care of your heart, longevity. You cannot scar the tissues of your heart. Otherwise, it's going to fail. Pero tumatakbo ka naman ng 300.
Mm.
We don't always do that. Kasi siguro kung tatanungin mo, yung mga 100 milers, the ultra runners na tinatawag natin, if you're going to ask them if running 100 miles is healthy, they're going to be truthful and say, no, it's not healthy. Running 100 miles is not healthy. Running 26 miles, maybe you can get away with it, as long as you don't do it every month.
Okay. Yeah.
Running 13 miles, maybe it's okay as long as you don't do it every week, right? So that's how you take care of your heart. You don't
Yeah.
overdo it. There's
Yeah.
like gaya ng sabi ni Doc, yeah, there's a sweet spot. But running 100 miles is not healthy. After 20 miles, you're just taxing your heart too much. But we do it because it's a celebration of what our
What
bodies can do, right?
Yeah, yeah, those are really good. And if I can inject a little about our foundation when it comes to low carb and fasting, no, we always go back to evolution. Hindi po ito gawa-gawa namin. Okay? So there's science to back it up. And for practical side, okay, yung pinaka-common sense side, we try to envision actually kung ano yung mga activities and lifestyle ng mga ninuno natin, hunter-gatherers for millions of years. Doon kasi nakabase yung genetic makeup natin ngayon. I'm in the process of reviewing the books to make it a second edition and incorporation what we've learned, because there are so many new na mga emerging sciences and needs improvement. And with this, I recalled the evolutionary side and including physical activity.
Mhm.
As much as we are runners and nomads before, always walking, roaming the earth, we are not running the whole time then.
Yep.
We can sprint kapag hinahabol tayo
Yep.
ng sinong kung anong predator dyan. But we are also endurance na beings who can endure miles and miles of walks. And then at a certain time, we will be lazy.
Yeah.
Magkukulong lang tayo sa kuweba because
Yep.
it's winter at malamig. So we are people of habit. We are beings of habit. Na it's not just one certain habit. It's a mixture of everything. So it's good that we are now going to do this. Hindi na forced by nature kasi kung
Mhm.
hindi ka tatakbo, mamamatay ka. No. At least now we can run according to our goals and kung ano yung kaya natin at kung ano yung gusto nating ma-achieve. So with low carb and fasting, that's one of the major na importance of going back kung ano talaga yung nakasanayan ng genetics natin. Hindi yung memory lang natin for
Yeah.
the last time na we've been living, kung ano nakasanayan ng mommy at daddy at lolo at lola natin, but based on our genetics. It's low carb nutrition, eating animal meats, eating occasional root crops. Kung sa mga fruits and vegetables man, paminsan-minsan when they are on their season, natural season, at hindi rin ganon kakailangan karami dahil hindi naman fruit-bearing season all year round. And you can add physical activity. There's one question lang, Coach Oli, kasi may nagtatanong, sana lang daw natin kukunin yung mga vitamins and minerals na kasi daw parang nasasaktan ata siya na hindi na pwedeng kumain ng maraming fruits as much as how we eat fruits before.
There's a lot of, actually, kung mahilig ka naman sa karne, then there's a lot of nutrients
Ah,
in meat.
oh,
Actually, the food that has the most nutrients is liver. Kung
yeah.
nakakapwet, hindi ka, hindi mo iniwasan ang liver, then you can forget about fruits actually. Just eat liver. But we are, we are human beings and we are living in a modern world. Of course, fruits are around, and in a modern world like now, fruits are not seasonal anymore. You can buy them every day in the supermarket. So as long as you can, avocado is low carb,
Mm,
berries are low carb, and these fruits have a lot of nutrients and vitamins. So it's just, I think, ano lang, you have to do a better job of choosing your fruits.
yeah.
Nobody said you cannot eat fruits. You can eat fruits, but pick the ones that actually is good for you.
Mm.
And I eat avocado almost every day. I eat berries, and the other fruits I just call them candy. So I say, well, I'm gonna eat candy, but I'm gonna eat fruits.
Ang cute. Gusto ko yan. Gusto ko yan. And part of that, honey. You can consider that as a candy.
Yeah.
Okay? Yan, just to be clear with that. And also, yung concept kasi ng RDA na required daily allowance on vitamins and minerals, it's not actually based on evolution. And so, hindi talaga natin kailangan i-achieve yung certain kinds of vitamins on that day kagad. The formulation of RDA is mostly fueled by business. Na that's why after that one, pwede ka nang bumili ng vitamin A, B, C hanggang Z na vitamin sa tableta just so you can reach your RDA. But our body is not designed that way. We have stores, hindi lang po taba yung sinostore natin sa ating katawan. Our body actually have storage for vitamins and minerals
Mhm.
because we are used to seasonal eating based on season. And alam ng katawan natin na there will be times na medyo kukulangin ka sa ganitong vitamins, and that's why meron siyang nakareserba para dito. And so, instead of daily thinking about your vitamin intake daily, you can safely consume vitamins on a weekly basis na when it comes to targeting them. So, speaking of liver, just 100 grams of liver a week is actually good enough already.
Yes,
Okay.
kasi nagkakaroon din ng vitamin A toxicity, di ba? If
Yes.
too much liver.
Yes. So, those are the things that you should consider. It's a very sobra kapag kami ni Kuya Ollie magkukuwentuhan, kahit saan-saan na lang kami napupunta. But on the other hand, to improve low carb and fasting, Kuya Ollie will be one of our resource speakers in the upcoming National Low Carb Days, sa Low Carb Con 2022 on October 2, 2022. It's a Sunday. It's a hybrid event po. So for those na hindi makakapunta in Alabang, in Philinvestant, you can join virtually. So it's going to be available live. Magkakaroon ng live streaming ng ating event, while at the same time, for those na hindi makaka-attend ng live event, we will record the event, lahat ng mga talks in that event, and then you will be able to rewatch it for 1 month. Okay? You will be able to watch it for the whole month of October para ma-savor nyo talaga, because there's so many learnings, and there's talks about low carb and the updates, recent updates scientifically, mga personal experiences, clinical experiences ng mga low carb doctors natin. And there will also be workshop on cooking, on fitness, on exercise, and life hacks. So I hope you can join. You can visit www.nationallowcarbday.com. So when it comes to other hacks, add physical activity. Kuya Ollie, a little preview. Ano pa yung mga additional mo na hacks in addition to low carb and fasting?
Actually, Doc, since we're talking about the low carb day, no, yung National Low Carb Day, and I'm one of the resource speakers. Actually, I'm on this National Low Carb Day. I'm going to talk about something much more different than what we talk about today, which is sauna bathing. I know it's not very popular to our community and the community that we are trying to cater to. But kaya nga nung tinanong mo ako, tapos sabi mo, Kuya Oli, pwede mo bang can you talk about your sauna bathing? Sabi ko, what is the relationship? I mean, is it really, bago ako sumagot sa'yo, sabi ko, is it relatable to our community? Because we're trying to cater to our Filipino people, di ba? Like,
Yes.
not everybody, sauna, as you know,
It's not available.
equipments are pretty expensive.
Mm.
It's not cheap. But then I thought about, is it relatable or not? Should I talk about it? Then I said yes. Then after watching your episodes with Coach Dan Bunying about Parkinson's disease and other diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's, which can be improved by sauna bathing. There are studies that came out of Finland documenting all these improvements, cardiovascular improvements, all-cause mortality reduced by 40%, and all these other improvements by using sauna. I said, well, maybe it is relatable, because malaki ng community natin eh. We're not only catering to like budget meals people, we're also catering to people who has a lot of diseases that sauna bathing might be able to help them with. And as a background, and why I can talk about it is because I've been actually using sauna for the last 14 years, although before it wasn't as serious as the beginning of this year. So noon lang pag na-stress ako, punta ako ng gym, mag-workout, then there's a sauna in the gym. Then I would use it. And each time I come out of the sauna, I feel like a new person. Like I'm so refreshed, I'm stress-free, and all that. So 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I heard an interview of Dr. Rhonda Patrick. I consider her the the authority when it comes to sauna bathing, and that was always in the back of my mind. So this year, beginning at the early part of this year, I started being serious about my sauna practice, and that's another layer of practice that I incorporated in addition to low carb, intermittent fasting, primal endurance running. So now I have sauna bathing also in addition to it. And the whole idea for me is, for all these things that I do, is longevity.
Mm.
I met a legendary runner the beginning of this year in one of the races. Her name is Cecilia Wolfram. I wrote about her. She's in my. I wrote a short story about her in my page, Son of a Farmer. If you want to check it out. So Tita Lou, or Ladybug as we call her in the running community, started running when she was 55. And now she is 68 years old. And within that span of time, from 55 to 68, she ran 100 miles, 50 miles, 100 Ks, 50 Ks, and not only once, multiple times in the span of 13 years. She had so much accomplishments in the ultra running world. Then after I met her, I said, is that possible? Is that possible for me? And I started thinking. I said, why not? Everything is possible. And that gave me an idea about longevity. And I said, well, can I function as good as her when I'm 68? And that's the reason for all this, I guess you can call it crazy things that I do. Primal endurance, intermittent fasting, low carb, sauna bathing. And there are a lot of benefits to sauna bathing. That's just a preview. So if you're going to watch the low carb convention and on National Low Carb Day, my goal is hopefully I can deliver it. My goal is, when I am done talking about sauna bathing, you're gonna want to save money and buy your own sauna.
Naku, parang ako ang unang mabibiktima diyan. I've actually loved sauna ever since. So, usually when I book hotels abroad, isa siya sa mga amenities na tinitingnan ko. And I usually, before, not so fond of massage, but I find that I get more relaxed. I become parang rejuvenated after a sauna rather than a massage. Sometimes nung nagpapa-massage ako ngayon, parang pang ano na lang siya, leisure na lang, and it's usually just very soft. Kasi parang mas nasasaktan ako kapag nagpa-massage ako. Para akong feeling ko para akong nabubugbog right after massage. But sauna is very, very relaxing. And yes, marami ng known benefits of sauna. It can be, marami nagko-comment that they've been doing this also and part of detoxification. And one reason of why sauna works, it's because na it can do hormesis. So hormesis is like challenging your body. So you can actually improve your health through hormesis, and there are many ways. There's sauna, there's also ice bath, and you can also do
Mhm.
ice bath and sauna from time to time para ma-trigger talaga yung hormesis. So hormesis is a concept na kung ano yung hindi yung nakamamatay sa but challenging yourself, it's going to make you even stronger. So what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. That's the concept of hormesis when it comes to health. And lastly, I think we shouldn't just aim to be healthy, but really longevity, to live longer, and yet still having that vigor, that stamina of youth. Hindi lang tayo basta sa age lang. Just like what you've mentioned, si Ma'am Cecilia, was it Cecilia?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, na at the age of 68 na noon, feeling natin by the time you reach 60, parang sa bahay ka na lang, hihiga-higa na lang. But no, hindi po yan yung ending na kailangan nating i-envision. We can actually do so much more. And we can start. The best time to start was yesterday. But since tapos na ang yesterday, so we can start today. So those are the things and so much more. Ang National Low Carb Day and Low Carb Con this year, it's going to be very varied, and it's going to help you parang get that needed boost sa iyong current na low carb and fasting lifestyle, and those among other hacks to improve LCF, yun share sa atin ni Coach Ollie in the upcoming National Low Carb Day on October 2. And we welcome everyone. And before we end, no, we have an early bird promo. Please, as much as possible, you invite everyone. It's just going to be 500 pesos or nasa less than $10 lang yung ating virtual attendance and face-to-face attendance. Just go to our nationallowcarbday.com. Hanggang September 15 na lang po yan. And the rate will become regular at 1,000 pesos. Still affordable actually. Still very affordable because we are aiming na this one will be spread by as many people as possible. At para sa mga nasistress na ang dami daw impostors na nagsasabing nagbebenta ako ng kung ano-anong mga cereals, just don't mind them na lang, but you can help our community by spreading what is really right and true, and you can spread the post of our groups, our pages, and also the page of Coach Ollie, Sonofa Farmer or Son of a Farmer. that's
Son of
that's uh,
farmer.
Son of a Farmer, but you can check it out. Sonofa Farmer. So yan, by Coach Oli yan. The contents are really, really good. And I always learn a thing or two every time nagkwentuhan kami. So Coach Oli, as much as we would like to extend this, and I know late na dyan, and I don't want to mess with your longevity by messing up your sleeping pattern. Anything that you want to emphasize and you want to share before we end our today's live?
Merong time, Doc, because I see the questions and I just want to touch real quick on
Sure, sure.
contraindications because marami yatang nai-excite sa sauna. I just want to touch on contraindications now. If you're taking medications and if you have cardiovascular disease, always consult your doctor before using the sauna. If you are a male who is trying to, make a baby, or you're trying to, make your wife pregnant, stay away from sauna for a while until you get your wife pregnant, because it was found to reduce the count of sperm and motility and count of sperm. So stay away from that. And children shouldn't be using sauna because their body is not as good as adults in
They're
cooling it
prone
down.
to dehydration.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're not as good as sweating as we do.
Mm.
So children shouldn't use it. If they do, they should be supervised. And there's one other thing: pregnant women. There were birth defects that were found. I mean, that came out of extreme heat stress. So like spina bifida and other things. So stay away from sauna. So just want you guys to be safe. Don't jump in right away. Make sure that if you have any medical condition, you consult your doctor.
Mm.
And lastly, I'm going to reiterate what Doc Grace said. The best day to start this lifestyle was yesterday. And since yesterday is already gone, the best time to start is when we're done with this interview. You start. And the best way to sustain this lifestyle is to continue to educate yourself, because this lifestyle evolves. Yes, fasting works. Yes, low carb nutrition works, but there are a myriad of things that you can still do to improve. Always aim to improve yourself. Always aim to be better than you were yesterday. Don't be comfortable at where you are, because once you stop, that's it. Life doesn't stop. Like, imagine yourself walking on a treadmill, right? Treadmill is life. Treadmill doesn't stop. Once you stop walking, you're going to stumble and fall. So you always go with the treadmill. You always be moving, always be moving, always be improving. That is all.
Thank you, Coach Ollie. And merong mga nai-inspire, mga nakaka-relate. Pareho kami ni Mary siguro. I hate brisk walking and running, pero parang nai-inspire ako sa sinabi ni Coach Ollie. I will try it. Hinay-hinay lang. So yan, meron ng meron ng nadala sa ating
And
running and walking. Yes.
lastly, Doc, the
Yes.
thing I like about sauna is compliance. A lot of people don't have the ability to exercise. If you can exercise is always key. I love exercise personally. But if you can combine exercise and sauna, even better. But the thing that I like about sauna is compliance. You tell someone to go and run, they probably won't. But if you tell this person that he or she can get the benefits of resistance training and endurance training while sitting in a hot box for 20 minutes, there's probably a better compliance there. So
Oh.
that's the thing I like about it. Because some of us don't have the ability to do it. Either we're physically limited, we are wheelchair bound, but if we can still get the benefits of exercise while sitting in a sauna, then why not? Right?
Mhm. And as for me, no, in my few experiences when it comes to sauna, since I'm fond of meditating and just being in myself, iba yung thought process ko
I
when
love
I'm
it.
inside the sauna. Iba talaga. Iba, parang, basta, iba yung mindset. It's really like, sobra. It's like cleansing. It's cleansing not just your body, not just the fluids, but it's really doing something else in my brain. And I know it's something good. That's why when I go to a spa, that's the first thing that I ask if their sauna is working. Because,
Yeah,
here in the Philippines, meron nga, pero, "Ay ma'am, hindi po gumagana ngayon," or what. So,
yeah,
yon. But I think this is really an exciting. Marami nang na-excite sa ating National Low Carb Day, including Rochelle, na na-excite na lalo sa ating National Low Carb Day, knowing na she will get to know about sauna more. Sabi ni Rita, I will try sauna. Pwede sa malaking basin. Pwede ba sa malaking basin?
it's more like a
Meron
hot bath.
bath na yan. But I think
Yeah,
merong yung ni Miss Rosette, bumili ako nun, nung portable na parang sauna, yung
oh,
parang papasok ka
yung
sa loob ng,
personal sauna.
yeah,
Yeah,
parang portable sauna na that can work still. Pero yun
yeah,
nga, it's
because
not as easy as just going inside. So I agree with you na compliance is way, way easy if it's just a box na you can just come in anytime.
yeah, and it's for me, sauna is a place of healing. It's a
Yeah.
place where I can stay away from my electronic gadgets. That's the
Mm.
reason why
Oh,
when
kasi bawal.
I bought my because in a sauna that I had, like the picture that you showed earlier,
Mhm.
it can range from thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. You
Mm.
can have a sauna that has like TV inside. You even
Yes.
have iPad inside, but this one is one of the simplest that they have. I have a
Mm.
CD player inside. I actually have to put a CD in order to listen to music. So that's how primitive it is.
Mm.
And the controls are just simple. It's just on, off, time, and all that.
Ah.
It's there are no bells and whistles, and that's the
Mm.
way I like it because for me, sauna is a time to meditate. It's a time for healing. It's a time to stay away from looking at this for so many hours in a day, right? And when I'm in there, I'm increasing my longevity. So why would I bring anything else? So I bring a book, I bring water, and I practice. And when I come out, I feel like a new person.
Sobra talaga. Hay naku, nami-miss ko na tuloy mag-sauna at gusto ko na mag-sauna agad-agad. It's you triggered to me today running and doing sauna. So I cannot wait to start them talaga. And maraming question about sauna, how safe it is and as how often ito pwedeng gawin. I hope you can be a part of our National Low Carb Day and we can talk more about that. And Coach Ollie will share with you everything that he knows and everything that is possibly applicable sa atin. So, thank you so much for this very wonderful time na bigla na namang na-excite yung kung ano-anong mga hopes and dreams ko when it comes to improving the overall lifestyle when it comes to wellness. I'm a sucker for wellness talaga. And I know it will start with mindset and I know the euphoria that we can get from physical activity and from sauna. Yun nga lang nakakaligtaan. So before we end, I would just like to thank everyone for being here na lumagpas tayo ng 1 hour. Ganon talaga ka-extensive yung mga pag-uusapan natin. And I hope you can be a part of the National Low Carb Day, not just to learn, but also as a support sa ating community. Wala po akong binibentang kahit anong product, but what we are trying to impart to you would be the knowledge and the learnings na para din po sa inyo at sa ating lahat. And if you wish to support us, you can support by joining the International Low Carb Day. And we hope to see you then. And meron lang tayong dalawang comment dito kasi yung iba takot magsimula kasi daw 50s na sila, 60s na sila. Dito si Ma'am Ella, sabi niya, December 3, nag-umpisa ako mag-low carb. I am 71 years old, diabetic, high blood pressure, may mataas yung cholesterol, may rheumatoid arthritis, mataas yung uric acid, may problem from back, L1, L2, so sa spine, problem. Kaya I have 8 kinds of maintenance from 2000, so from 2021 December, nang dumaan sa Facebook ko si Doktora Rojo. December 3, nag-masterclass kaya nakapastart ako maayos na low carb. Lahat ng issue ng medical ay na-reverse. 'Di ba? At nakakapag-comment ngayon si Ma'am, 71 years old, nakakapag-comment sa Facebook. So active, so alert. So congratulations po. Meron ding isa, si Annie. The moment I saw the cross video, that is the moment that I started low carb. I started last May 24th of this year. I was 81 kilograms. Menopause, battling my weight for the rest of my life. From 81 kilograms, ngayon 65. Nearly 4 months of doing it. Thank you po. So, sobra talaga ang galing.
Congratulations!
And can you, did you notice na we are very, very specific sa date kung kailan tayo nagsimula? Because it's
I
like
remember mine.
a new birthday for us eh. Oh, do you still remember kung ano yung parang fasting anniversary mo?
April 28.
Oh, that's so nice. Naalala mo talaga.
2019.
Oh, for me, it was February 1 or 2. Hindi ko lang alam. I think it was February 2 talaga. But kaya lang, medyo alanganin yung 2. Parang inisip ko, 1 na lang kaya. But I think it was February 2 on me. It was I've been doing intermittent fasting way before that. But February 2 is my fasting anniversary when it comes to extended fasting. That's the first day of me doing more than 24 hours. The first fasting that I did was 4.5 days. So, hindi ko pa makompute ngayon. Basta 4.5 days. 100 hours ba yun? Something around 100 hours of fasting. So, yun. Daming kwento. Thank you so much, Coach Ollie. Sleep ka na. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Everyone.
And,
wait lang. Picture muna tayong dalawa. Sige. Smile. Yan. Thank you, everyone. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.
Bye.